Are you in the market for a new dehydrator, or maybe just your first dehydrator? Well, today I'm going to be talking about the 6 key features that you should look for when buying a dehydrator. It's Jody with All About the Harvest, where I teach you how to grow, use, and preserve your harvest. And today we're talking about dehydrators. So the first key feature that I looked for when I bought my dehydrator, when I bought my second dehydrator, this is the second dehydrator that I purchased, the key feature that I looked for was the temperature setting. So for me, temperature setting was crucial because different foods dehydrate at different temperatures, and it's really imperative that you are able to select the temperature that your foods are going to dehydrate at. Not all dehydrators have temperature settings. One of the things that I looked for was a wide temperature range. This particular dehydrator is the Excalibur dehydrator. This particular dehydrator, you can choose the temperature anywhere from 95 to 165 degrees. I wanted something that had a low temperature setting that I could dehydrate my herbs. And then I also wanted something that had a higher temperature setting that I could do jerky, for example. So the 95 to 165 degree temperature range was perfect for me. The other thing that I like about this particular dehydrator is that I can actually set it based on 1 degree increments. Some dehydrators, you actually only get various settings. So that was the first feature. The first feature that was really important to me, and I think should be important to you, is a dehydrator that has a temperature setting. The second thing that was a big deal to me is the airflow. So there are 2 different types of airflow systems, and one is horizontal and then the other is vertical. This particular machine has the horizontal airflow. So the air flows from the back. So there's a fan here and it actually flows through the front. So it's horizontal. It goes horizontally over the food. Now there's also vertical airflow systems, and those are, think about the stackable ones like a Nesco. The original one that I had was like a Sunbeam, and they're usually circular in shape, and then either the motor or the fan is at the bottom or at their top. They're usually, like I said, in circles, and then the center is kind of open so that the air flows up, and it's supposed to flow up and around. So that is the difference. That's a vertical versus horizontal. The reason that I like the horizontal better is because it flows evenly over all of your food and you don't have to rotate those stacks. So with my vertical one, the first one that I had, I actually had to rotate the stacks frequently to get even drying. With the horizontal one, it just flows evenly over all food. And so it comes from the back here, and then each of these trays get an equal amount of airflow. One of the other things that I like about horizontal dehydrators in general is that you get this entire space to put your food on, and those vertical dehydrators, they usually have the center that is cut out. So you have to kind of get your food to go around there. The nice thing about this is it's nice and big. I can put, I dehydrate banana peels on here so they're long and skinny, or jerky, so strips of meat. Those would be long and skinny. So those can get a little bit harder to do when you have the circular one. Now, by all means, you can do it, but you just have to work around that center. And in this particular size, you just don't have to do that. I really, really like that. So my second that I would recommend is the horizontal airflow. That would be the second feature that I would recommend. And those would be my top 2 features. So now the next feature that was important to me and probably would be important to you as well is the amount of drying space. So the square foot of drying space or the number of shelves. So for me, I chose to get, for my second dehydrator, I chose to get this 9 tray And this is, each tray on this particular dehydrator is 14 by 14 inches. And this equates to about 15 square feet of drying space. I personally wanted more shelves and more space because I knew that if I was going to be dehydrating a lot of food, I wanted to be able to have the space to do it. There are some particular models where you can add additional trays to them. So some of those stacking ones that you can actually add additional trays, so you could get more. In this particular model, it's 9 trays. So I can't fit any more trays than 9 in this model, although it is quite a bit of square feet. So I'm really pleased with it. Another reason that I would choose something that is bigger is because you can always dehydrate less than what the dehydrator can hold, but you can never dehydrate more than what the dehydrator can hold. So I personally chose the bigger one. Now this also goes into my next feature that I think is an important feature when deciding what type of dehydrator you're going to get, and that has to do with the shelves. So removable shelves are important, and I am going to explain that. So these particular shelves are completely removable. I can take them out. So if I have bigger food items or taller food items in here, then I can take out a shelf and then I still have room for that bigger food item. So sometimes when I'm dehydrating greens, when you first dehydrate them, they're actually kind of big and tall. And then after they dehydrate for a while, they kind of flatten out. So when I first get them in there, I usually give it, the 2 shelf space, and then as they dehydrate, then, they do flatten out a little bit. Another thing that I dehydrate in here are chunks of chaga, and those are usually perfect for a 2 shelf space in here. Now, if I had those stackable shelves and the vertical ones, I couldn't actually do that, because even if you put a shelf on there with nothing in it, the shelf is still there creating a top. For something like the chaga, that's not going to work. So for me, removable shelves was important. And another key benefit of removable shelves is, well, I guess there's 2 key benefits. One, so now if, say, I only have, enough stuff for 4 shelves, I could take these trays out and then I have a better airflow. What I could also do, so the second part is it does give more airflow. The other thing that I can do is I could take all of these out. You can proof bread, or you can actually make yogurt in here as well. So the nice thing about taking these out is first of all, it also makes it really easy to clean. And I will do a video on how to clean this particular dehydrator, getting kind of all the nooks and crannies, some tips and tricks I found on that. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you can get those tips and tricks when I have that video out. If you're seeing this later and I do have that video out, I'll make sure I will link it up here and in the description below. Okay, so the removable shelves were one of the big key factors for me. So if you are finding value in this video so far, go ahead and hit that like button and consider subscribing to my channel, where you will get more videos like this. Okay, so the next feature that I was looking for when buying my dehydrator was I wanted a timer. Now, I know that not everybody feels that a timer is necessary. I was looking for a timer for a couple reasons, and this particular model has a timer. It actually has a double timer. I can set something at a higher temperature for, say, a couple hours, and then I can set a second timer, and then it will automatically go down to that lower temperature for that remaining time. Now, this particular model, the timer can be put out 48 hours in advance. I actually found this particularly useful for me. We were going camping one weekend, and I had something in here that I just needed it to go longer, but not 3 days long. So I just put the timer on and then let that finish out while we were gone. And then when we came back, it was nice and dry, and I was able to put it away. The timer was actually really nice in that aspect because you don't want to have your food go to waste. Again, if you're always home, you don't necessarily have to worry about it. But for me, it's just nice to have, especially in cases like that, where you may only need it going probably for a little bit longer, a few more hours, and you just want to let it run and you're not going to be home during that time. That is a benefit of the timer. I looked for the timer. This particular model, like I said, has the double timer, which is a nice benefit, but just one with a timer in general is nice. And then one of the last key features for me that I looked for when I was purchasing a dehydrator was the weight. So for me, I wanted something that was lightweight. I did look at the stainless steel model and looked at stainless steel dehydrators in general. And for me, one of the factors, the main reason I did not go with the stainless steel was because it was heavy. And for me, I'm the one in my house that does the dehydrating, so I need to be able to pick this up, move it around without any help from anyone else. And so for me, this particular model was what I went with. It is very lightweight. It's unplugged right now. And it's pretty lightweight. You can, pick it up, move it around. It is really lightweight. So that to me was nice. It's lightweight, but it's not cheap. It is well built. So that was one of the reasons that I chose this model, but in general, I just wanted to go with something lightweight. You gotta think, if something is heavier, you're less likely to get it out and use it. If it's lightweight and it's easy to move, then you're more likely to use it. And for me, that was something that was key. I needed to have something that was lightweight. I know we have a KitchenAid mixer. It is very heavy. And there are times that I don't want to lift it because it's very heavy. So I will just use my hand beater in a bowl versus getting out the KitchenAid. And I know it sounds goofy, but that's just how it is. So for me, this being lightweight, I use this all the time. And so I'm always putting it in and out of the cupboards. It works really well. So those were the top 6 dehydrator features that you're gonna wanna consider when purchasing a new dehydrator. Now, obviously, I am recommending this Excalibur. I love it. I will put a link in the description below this video to this particular dehydrator. Now, I'm actually going to do a review on this particular dehydrator. While I did tell you some of the key features about this dehydrator and why I love it, there are actually a bunch of other features about this dehydrator that I love as well. And so be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can get that video when it comes out. If I have created that video by the time you're watching this, then I will add a link to that video here and put a link in the description below this video. I hope you found this video useful and that it helps you to determine which kind of dehydrator you're going to purchase. Again, it's Jody with All About the Harvest, where I teach you how to grow, use, and preserve your harvest. Please share this video with anybody that you know that may be interested in purchasing a dehydrator. And until next time, enjoy your dehydrator shopping.